Okay, class, today's lesson is about finding the range. So first thing we're going to do is this warm-up just to remind us of some of the other things we've been doing. So it says find the mean, median, and mode of the data set below. We have 10, 14, 16, 20, 12, and 16. So mean, if you guys remember, is average, regular average that most people think of. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our calculators, we're going to add all of our numbers up. 10 plus 14 plus 16 plus 20 plus 12 plus 16 equals 88. So we added all the numbers up and we come up with 88. And then what we're going to do is we're going to divide by the amount of numbers that are in the set. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to divide 88 by 6. Take my calculator. Divide by 6. And we get 14.6 repeating. Or 14.7. Also, if we wanted to put that in fraction form, which is what we'll probably go ahead and do, second fraction decimal, oops, excuse me, just the fraction decimal button, sorry. Sorry. 6, fraction decimal, there we go. 14 2/3. Sorry about that. So our mean is 14 2/3, or 14.7. Median. So to find the median, if we remember that one, you need to first take all the numbers and put them in order from least to greatest. So 12, 14, the 10's here, 10, 12, 14, there's 16, 16, and 20. Just check, make sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to find the middle number. This is an even number though, so there's going to be two of them. It's going to be 14 and 16. We have 2. We find the mean of those two together. So 14 plus 16 is 30. And we're going to divide by 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So our median for this range is 15. Then finally, we're going to find the mode. That's the last thing that we learned how to do. And the mode is the number that appears the most. So there's 110, 114, 2 16s, 120, and 112. So our mode is 16 because there are more 16s than there are anything else. And that's our warm-up. 14 2/3, 15, and 16. All right. So, finding the range. A measure of variation is a measure that describes the distribution of a data set. Distribution is how things are laid out, how things fall into place. If you were to take a bunch of coins and drop them all, the distribution would be the area that they have laid out in. Range is the difference between the greatest value and the least value. In a data set. Okay, so range, the difference between the greatest value and the least value in a data set. If you remember some of your math words, difference means we're probably going to be doing some subtraction. So range is a measure of variation. Okay? A measure of variation. And we said a measure of variation is the measure that describes the distribution of a data set. So how things are laid out. To find the range of a data set, identify the greatest value and the least value. So the greatest or the biggest and least or smallest value. Then subtract. The least value from the greatest value. The range can only be found of a numerical data set. Okay? Go ahead and pause this if you need to get this information down. Now we're going to go to 7. Find the range of each data set below. So, first thing we need to do is find the smallest and the largest number in these data sets. I'm going to do both of these two different ways. This first one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and lay the numbers out first, just so I know which is smallest, which is largest. Okay, so I've laid all the numbers out from smallest to largest. That way I can get a better idea on what I'm working with. So if we go back to number 4, to find the range of the data set, identify the greatest value and the least value. Since I went ahead and put these in order, we know this is the least and this is the greatest. Number 5 says, then subtract the least value from the greatest. So all we have to do, 20 minus 2 is 18. And there you have it, that's the range. The range is 18. This next set, I'm not going to lay them out. I'm just going to look for the smallest and largest one. If you do it this way, just be careful. Make sure you do pick the biggest and smallest numbers. When you start to have a large set of numbers, or we start to do stuff with decimals and fractions, I advise not just looking at the numbers and picking them out. I advise doing it the way we did this right here. But we have a few enough numbers. I think we're okay to do this, and we'll pick the right numbers. So the smallest number I see here is 35. And then my largest one looks to be 120. So all I'm going to do is 120 minus 35, because we just found the difference. 85. The range is going to be 85. Here again, pick out the smallest. There's a 12 there. Appears that 89 will be our biggest number. 89 minus 12. 7. 77 is our answer. Go ahead and look at this last one. So the smallest number I see is 11. There's 2 of them, but it still is the smallest number, so we're just going to take one of those 11s. Then we go 12, 15, 22, 37, and there's 2 37s, so we're going to pick a 37. Doesn't matter which one, they both equal the same thing. We're going to take our large and our small, subtract 6, 2, 26. That's our answer. The range for this number set is 26. Make sure you get all this information down, and we're going to go back to the back side of this. Excuse me. These right here are supposed to be commas. What is the range of the data set below? So we have a set of numbers there, 6 of them. The smallest number I see, there are 2 20s, and then we go up to this 30. So we're going to subtract 30 minus 20. Our answer is 10. A range of 10. Number 2, what is the range of the data set below? Go ahead and take a stab at that. See what you get. Now, there's this lonesome little 40 here. That will be our smallest. And then we have one number that's all the way up to 200. Just going to subtract those. And there you have it. Number 3, what is the range of the data set below? Again, look through here. There's a 20. So we go all the way up to 90 here. 90 minus 20 equals 70. What's the range of the data set below? Have a lot of decimal points in here. I don't want to get confused to see where one's set up different. So let's go ahead and put these in numerical order. Be the easiest way to do it. Make sure we get all the numbers in. So our smallest number, we're going to look at the decimal. This right here is our only one that has a 1. That's probably going to be our biggest, so we'll remember that. All the rest of these start off with a 0. So then we're going to go to the 10 place. There's none with a 1, but there are 2 of them that have a 2. So 0.25, 0.25, I'll mark those out. No 3s, then there's 2.24s. A 0.5, a 0.6, and that big old 1.2. Okay. So now these are in order from least to greatest. So I'll take this 0.25 and this 1.2 and subtract them. Make sure you line up your decimals. Subtraction and addition with decimals, you always line the decimals up. Put a 0 here. Can't take 5 from 0, so we're going to borrow a 1 from here. 5. Can't take 2 from 1, so we're going to borrow that. That's 11 minus 2, which is 9. Don't forget to bring your decimal down. So the range of this data is 0.95. Don't forget all your rules with decimals, especially with subtraction and addition. Okay. Number 5, create a data set with 5 numbers that have a range of 16. So when you do this right here, you're just going to pick 2 numbers. I want y'all to pick your own. I'll look at them. Just make sure that your smallest and your biggest number, the difference between them is 16. 2 different ways you can do that. You can pick your smallest number, then just add 16 to it, and that'll be your biggest number. Put everything else in between there. Or you can pick your biggest number, subtract 16 from that, and that will give you your smallest number. Just put all your numbers between there. So whichever you choose to do, make sure that the difference between the smallest and the largest is just 16. Same thing here for 6. Create a data set with 3 items that have a range of 20. You can either start with your smallest number, add 20 to it, and that'll give your biggest one, and then put a number in between them. Or you can start with your bigger number, subtract 20 from that, and that'll give you your smaller number, and just put a third number between that. Okay? Be creative, and I like to see what y'all get for those 2. Remember that 5 needs 5 numbers, and 6 is just using 3. Number 7. Marianne recorded all of her science test scores for the quarter. Her scores were 68, 72, 90, 100, and 85. What's the range of her test scores? So the smallest appears to be this 68. The largest, a 100. So the range is the difference between the 2. Borrow that from here, here, here. 2 and 3. She has a range of 32 points for her test. Hopefully you guys get that. We'll practice some more on this, practice some more on mean, median, and mode. And y'all have a good day.